Well, I feel like that you're never really too far, but you take like a mini break and you're never really too far. You're working on stuff, but now you're back with a full album and we're happy.
Back in the world.
Yeah, and it's good. Beautiful Trauma. I love it, and I need to know where it came from.
The name of that record. I always name the album after a song. I don't know why. I just always have. But I feel like life is really traumatic. Really traumatic. Every time you look around, there's something happening. But I also think that there's a lot of beautiful people in the world. There's a lot of good people, and there's a lot of love to be made and fun to be had. And I think human beings are really resilient. And I look at my husband, who is this beautiful man who's covered in scars, and every scar is just, it's an incredible story of intense trauma that he's survived, and the key word is survived. And I think that his scars are the most beautiful thing about him.
That's interesting because when I read it, I started laughing because I always call myself a beautiful mess. My whole life. I'm like, I'm just a beautiful mess. Yep. You know what I'm saying?
Organized chaos.
Exactly. Why do we? When I was reading the New York Times article that they did
said I had mostly cooked chicken?
Yeah.
That one?
That one. I was laughing at that. Like, it's mostly cooked. But what you said was, and I say this so much, and I have people that argue with me all the time, but I believe it to my core. You said, you know, you look in the mirror sometimes and you say you can't have it all. There's always a compromise. Why do you believe that?
Because I'm really into the psychology of things, and I look at the way we have evolved and progressed as women, and the things that we've had to fight for, and why are we fighting for those things, and what is it that we really want? What is it that I want? What does it mean to each individual woman to have it all? What does that actually mean? And to be a working woman with a family, with a relationship.
I have to tell you, a lot of women would say, what is she talking about?
She has it all.
She has it all.
And I'm blessed beyond belief. I have enough. But every time I make one decision, I take away from something else.
What is it that you think you don't have, or that you're missing?
Well, I would love to get rid of some of the mom guilt.
Oh.
Because that really shades a lot of my decision making. There's a lot of stuff that I watch. I just think men are better at walking out the door and shutting it off and going and doing what they do. Whereas when I walk out the door, I leave my heart behind. And it's conflicting. It's always conflicting. And I want to be the best mom in the world. I put way too much pressure on myself. I think we all do.
Yeah.
And I want to follow my passion too. And I want my kids to see what it looks like to have a mom that's a boss, that is following her passion and that is working really hard towards her goals. But there's always a choice. It's a choice. For each thing you do, there's a choice. It's a balance.
It's interesting that you say that, though, because, and I'm a little surprised at that, because to see when you were getting the Video Vanguard Award and to see how your little girl was looking at you, and to see like how she was mimicking what you said and singing your songs and taking so much joy in seeing her mama up there. Yeah, like that kind of, it floors me because I'm like, how does she have this mom guilt? Because look at this little girl who obviously you are her heroine.
Because no matter what, you just, it's not good enough. I don't know, we put that on ourselves. That's how we mom now. It's just never good enough. But having her with me and having the kind of life that I have, that's why I say I'm blessed beyond belief, because I can bring my kid with me. My kids go with me on tour, and they have this incredible, diverse, beautiful carnival of people between my dancers and my band and wardrobe and our chef Robbie, who taught her how to cook when she was 2. And it's just this gypsy family of traveling people, and that part's beautiful. That part's beautiful.
How do you not sit and bite that little one's face
all day? And his butt. He has little man shrivel butt right now, and I'm so into it, and I can't stop squeezing it.
I love it. So
you're like, okay.
No, see, he's got. When you post the pictures of him, I'm like, those cheeks.
He's
like
such
he
a
would
happy
not have
boy.
cheeks
I know.
Oh, I love it. When you're crafting this album, Where did you draw from? Because I know you always say you draw from your life experience.
Yeah.
So what place are you in now? And because I have a vision of, from listening to the album, like, oh, okay, maybe this was going on, this was in her head.
It's all going on. It's all in my head. There's about 17 voices in my head, and I draw from all of them. This is the longest I've had to. They say your first album takes 20 years, and your second album takes 6 months. And so I've been on that 6-month sort of thing for a really long time. And this time, I was living my life, and I'm going on marches and watching the news and watching this world become a different world, and raising my kids and doing bake sales and trying to be a wife and trying to have a long-term relationship, and also making records and songs, and it's all there. It's just, I'm just a human being trying to put one foot in front of the other, just like everybody else.
I thought What About Us was maybe about you and Carey, but it's not. It's about...
For me, it's about how government has failed us.
Yeah.
And not just in this country, especially in this country, but in general. I just think there's so many people that are being made to feel lesser than, and it's not right, and it shouldn't be. It's 2017, and this is not the world that I want to teach my daughter about. And again, I always try to go back to, there's a lot of good people in this world that want good things, and somehow we have to, I mean, human beings are resilient. When I went to Haiti, it is the poorest country in the world, and people are dancing in the street, and I hold that in my heart, that we will overcome all of it. And yeah, so all of that is swirling around in my head constantly.
Your boy Eminem making news today.
I know, that was amazing. That was amazing.
That he's one of the best freestylers anyway, period. That came from like the depths of depth.
He meant it.
Whoo, yes he did. The collaboration with you all, was it fun? Was it
So
crazy?
fun.
Was it?
So fun.
Yeah?
He makes me laugh. I love him. I think he's a genius. And I was drinking a lot of wine when I wrote that song. And when you get home, you just drink more wine. And then I emailed him and I professed my undying love for him and said, please be on this record. And he said yes.
That quick, that easy.
Yeah.
Wow. So, were you guys together, or did you do it separate?
No, I think he was in Rio de Janeiro.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, I got it 4 days later and I cracked up, and it's my mom's favorite song, which is hilarious.
It's a good one. It is a good one.
When she got the headphones on, I know what part because she's laughing. It's good.
I was singing the chorus when I was on the plane last night, and like I know people probably like,
yeah.
Okay, okay. You said that you take your kids on tour with you.
Yes.
How do you do that? I mean, touring in
idea.
itself is crazy, but how do you do that?
I do yoga sometimes. I do a lot of downward dogs.
Is that your workout regimen when you're on the road? Because you're so...
A lot of cardio.
Yeah.
A lot of acrobatic rehearsals and yoga. We all do yoga together as a team. It's nice. It's really nice. Good way to keep everybody together.
Does your family ever say, can you just keep your feet on the ground once?
My mom has said that many times about me and my husband. It's not going to happen. How
do you top yourself every time when you know that people are expecting
that from you? Because you have to.
Yeah?
You have to up the ante.
Yeah.
You have to. The older I get, the more dangerous it becomes.
Do you have any must-haves when you're on the road? Like things that you have to have with you, or...
There just has to be a lot of soft carpeting in the room because there's babies everywhere, and I'm tired of baby proofing.
Yeah. That's funny. Okay, so I know I have a favorite Pink song. Do you have a favorite Pink song?
Depends on the day, I guess.
Really?
Depends on if
What's your favorite song
angry
today?
At Carey Hart. My favorite one today, off the new record or just in general?
Just in general. Do you have a favorite that you've done?
I think maybe, I have no idea. Family Portrait, Dear Mr. President. I don't know.
Perfect for me. You know, to me, that's like an anthem.
Which one?
Perfect.
Perfect?
Yeah.
Aww.
It's an anthem for me.
The thing I love about performing that now that I have a 6-year-old girl, is watching moms and daughters in the audience just hug each other. and watching moms pick out lines from the song and point at their daughter's face and just try and drill it into their head, and grown men crying. It's just, it's a nice moment. It's wonderful.
That song that you put on when in your house when you're at home and you just dance and like twirl and like, seriously, that it's that good. Song for me. It is. Awesome. It really, really is that song for me. I know you were horrified by Las Vegas. I mean, you performed there. We were all horrified. When you found that out, where did your heart go? Did it go to fear? Did it go to, I'm about to go on tour? Did it go to, ain't no way somebody stopping this show or gonna make us?
All of the above.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was numb for a couple of days.
Yeah.
And that was what scared me, because I think desensitization is one of the worst things. And then I read the LA Times article where they talked about all of the victims and their families and their kids, and I've cried a lot. It's hard not to. It's just, it's devastating. I feel bad for everybody. I still feel bad for Ariana Grande. She's so young, and to live with that responsibility for the rest of your life is just, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I mean, what can you say? It's absolutely heartbreaking. I hate a lot, and I don't use the word hate in my house because I'm trying to teach my daughter to use better words, but I hate a lot of what's happening in our world. It's mind-numbing.
I said to someone the other day, my soul is stretched.
Yeah, my soul is really fatigued.
Yeah, because and you just think, what now? What next? And why?
I think that's why I keep having to go back to that there's beauty in the world, that there's still love, and people are still good, and I ultimately have to believe that it's going to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you do your part to make it so. That's all you can do.
Yeah. Okay, Saturday Night Live.
Yes, switching gears.
Switching gears, yeah, I know, because I'm like, I just put my eyelashes on, I'm about to cry my eyelashes off.
Hey, thanks, makeup artist.
Are you just going to sing?
I'm just going to sing. I'm just trying not to talk. I'm just gonna sing. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna sing.
No skits?
I don't know yet. I hope so.
That's what I was saying.
I would like to. I would like to. I did one back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been on SNL in 12 years.
Are you
I think
serious?
I've been kicked out every time I've been there.
What are you? Explain, please.
Well, I don't remember the second time. I was in my 20s. You're supposed to get kicked out of places.
Right. You got kicked out of SNL, or you got kicked out of like the after party?
I think the after party, from what I've been told.
The last time I talked to you was at the VMAs, and I think I told you and Carey, y'all earned each other.
Oh, I know. And like, good and bad.
Seriously, I'm like, you two have earned each other.
I know. When you say things like that to him, I know exactly where his head goes, and I want to smack him in public. But he's a good man.
He is.
And he's super cute.
Aww. You said in an article you don't hand your wedding ring back all the time.
I haven't done that in a really long time. I feel like we've come a long way.
This is love.
I used to throw it. I think I threw it in the pool once. I was standing on top of a grotto saying to all of his friends, "I'll never see you again. Have a nice life." Oh yeah, it was very yeah, it was lots of drama.
I mean, but then you guys have made this incredible family.
Yeah, he's a good dad.
And I was gonna say, and you probably look back and you're like, God, we did this.
Yeah.
We did this together.
Yeah, I believe in the work. I believe in it.
After you gave that speech at the VMAs, did you talk to your daughter? Did she say anything? Because, I mean, you had us all done.
She wasn't super impressed that night. She was more concerned with her sleepover and when that was going to start. She did not want to go to dinner with us. But the first time we had the conversation, which was a couple of weeks before, I think it meant a lot to her, and I think it was David Bowie that kind of made it all make sense to her, because we love the movie Labyrinth, and he's the Goblin King in Labyrinth. And she was like, "Well, is that a boy or a girl?" And I was like, "Right? Epic." She's like, "Yeah, that's what being a rock star is." Aww. And I think also her hearing that I get made fun of because she's 6 and she thinks I'm awesome. She doesn't yet despise me, So she's like, what do you mean you get made fun of? You're perfect. I'm like, oh,
What happens when that day comes when she's like,
oh, it's
Mama,
coming.
I don't wanna...
It's like right around the corner.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Is she a good big sister?
She is, finally. Yeah. She likes him. Now that he can laugh, she likes him. She was very disappointed in him when he first came out.
Really?
Yeah. She thought he was very boring and annoying.
So how did you get her to like, or did you just let her do it on her own time and have her own way?
Yeah, I just kind of let her do it. We had a lot of talks, a lot of tears. At one point, she looked at me and said, I never thought I'd have to beg you for a cuddle with crocodile tears in her eyes. And I was like, oh.
Did that kill you?
Yeah. Yeah, it took about 6 months off my life. I threw her a big sister party. I really thought I dotted my I's and crossed my T's, but it's fine. It'll be fine. One day she'll thank me. I keep telling her that.
She will. Do you have, going back to the album, I asked you if you had a favorite song, period, but do you have a favorite song on the album?
Revenge makes me happy.
Yeah.
Because it's fun and I can be pretty serious sometimes. I think What About Us is probably my favorite song. Georgia killed the video. Everybody in that video was beautiful. There was tears all around. I feel like we nailed it, and I love to sing it. It feels good in my body, and it's the right thing.
It was on in the gym this morning, the video was, so I was on the elliptical going to it, getting down to it. It was something else that you said recently, of course, perks the interest, when you said you had never been as big as Britney or Christina. I don't know if I agree with that.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, maybe just in my purview, but I don't know if I agree with that. You've sold, what, 40-something million albums?
I don't know.
42 million albums. I wrote it down. You've released a single every year since 2000, except for 1 year. You've had
yeah, I read that too. I was like, really?
4
Is that real?
number
Is that
one
true?
hits, 11 more top 10 hits. What do you mean you're not as big as them?
I don't know. I feel like that's the way it's always been. But I feel like it's a blessing in disguise, really. I mean, because I would go to Europe and play arenas and have this big fancy tour, and then I would come back and play like the 930 Club in DC to 200 people.
That's
and
nice.
it's this roller coaster. And I remember joking with Justin Timberlake. My first tour ever in '99 was opening for NSYNC, and then 10 years later, or not 10 years, but 2004, I was opening for Justin.
That's crazy.
And the first day I saw him, I was like, I've come far.
But that's a concert, though. You and Justin?
It was fun.
That's a concert.
But when I was on stage, everyone was still in catering. There was everyone was dressed as seats.
You're so silly. The New York Times also called you a progressive truth teller.
Okay.
I thought that was
I'll
cool.
take it. I like that.
Yeah, I like that title. And I'm like, it's kind of true. Like,
I like that.
Like you kind of sneak in on us, and you're like, you're sneaky dropping gems, sneaky dropping bombs. Seriously.
Not sneaky.
It's true.
I'm not very subtle, but I'll take it.
Do you think? Well, because maybe it's just in your music. I mean, you tell it like a T.I. is, as my grandmother says. You're one of those ladies. But I mean, sometimes maybe I just don't expect it. When it comes, I'm like, okay, Pink, drop a gem.
Yeah, I like to call it.
Yeah.
I was raised that way. My dad's nickname was Mr. Cause. So I'm a fighter. There's a lot to fight about right now.
There is, and there's a lot to talk about. I like when people.
That's a better word.
Yeah, I like when people use their platform I don't like when celebrities shy behind, or the everybody buys shoes or everybody buys records, so I'm not going to say anything. I like when people take a stand and tell us.
I do too. I'm very polarizing. I get that, but I don't mince words and I don't falter. And you know what? People do ask me sometimes, do you think celebrities have a responsibility to have a cause? And I said, if it's in them. If it's not in you, then no. You have a job just like everybody else. But if it's in you, then yeah, you have a responsibility.
Does mom call you Alicia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She calls me a lot of things. She calls me a pain in the ass, mostly.
So what's next then for Alicia and not Pink?
What's next? I'm trying to get this baby to grow some teeth so I can start feeding him different kinds of food. I'm super anxious about that. I'm ready to start with the finger foods. That's where I'm at. I'm hoping Carey asks me on a date soon because it's been a while. And
what is date night for you guys?
Date night is, if we're in Venice, we ride bicycles to our favorite dive bar, play darts or pool.
You guys just like you like each other.
He's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's naughty. I like his brain.
Actually, this last question, because I've been on TV talking all morning, of course, about Harvey Weinstein. And so I've been asking men and women this, because the Terry Crews stuff blew me away too. That he said he's experienced, sexual harassment and unwanted gestures by people in the industry. Have you ever experienced anything like that?
You know what's funny is no, not really. I think people think I'll bite them. I'm not even kidding. And I've always, some of my friends have been through some gnarly stuff, and I'm like, why can't I get in a room alone with a guy like that?
See.
But it just, I'm like, I have so much misplaced anger. I need somewhere to put it. No, and thank God. But I'm glad that it's not being tolerated.
Do you feel like a tide is changing, that women
I think women are supporting each other. Yeah. I think we really have each other's backs. And in that way, if this is what's being forced out of it, then that's a silver lining.